You're watching Oilers Nation Everyday with Tyler Yaremchuk. Your one-stop shop for all things Oilers.
LA Kings, Burger Kings, Lion Kings, don't care. Oilers in 5. Let's get into it with the lead. Skip. I'm not even kidding. My prediction is Oilers in 5. I wake up this morning, it's sunny out, hardly a cloud in the sky, at least from the small piece of sky that I can see. But we call that optimism, Liam.
We do. I believe that's what it'll say in the dictionary.
It is playoff time in Edmonton. Welcome into what I am dubbing our first playoff edition of the show. We know the opponent. We know the schedule. So let's get fired up. The show, as always, a presentation of Bet365. Download the app. Use the promo code NATION. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Also, giddy up. Sports Closet. Get geared up for the playoffs, from jerseys to hats to the legendary foam finger. You'll find it all and more at the Sports Closet. SportsCloset.ca if you need to check them out online. Dangerous Wade, is this show live or pre-recorded? It is live, but we will be joined, or we will play the interview we did with Grant Fuhr the other day. So yes, another Hall of Famer joining us on the show. We had a great, it was a little bit shorter than the Moose one, but it was still a good chat with Grant.
He gave us a little insight into, 1990? The All-Star game that he mentioned, I can't remember. Something that he was trying to do, but the NHL wouldn't let him. It would have been styling. It would have changed the world. It actually probably would have changed a lot of things, to be honest. So stay tuned for that. A little tease.
Good tease. Very, very good tease, Liam. All right. Lots to do today. Playoff bold predictions.
Playoffs.
A Sherwood Ford Giant question. Yes, the interview with Grant Fuhr. Liam and I are going to give our full playoff brackets as well.
You'll never guess who we picked to win. Could be anyone.
Could be any one of the 16 teams that made it. I think I haven't seen your bracket yet. I am curious to see who you have coming out of the East as well.
Yeah.
But it's playoff time. So, again, maybe a month ago, I would say we were kind of down in the dumps. And I gave up on the regular season at that point. I said, okay, enough of this shit. Whatever they do from April or March 17th till the end of the year, who cares? This team will be judged on what they do in the playoffs. And as the injuries piled up, and for a stretch, the losses piled up, and the gap between them and being out of the playoffs got smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, I never really got worried, but I just, again, started caring less and less about what was happening in the regular season. The last 2 games, I fell asleep before the end of the hockey game because I was watching them in bed. This team, I said it all along, will be judged on what they do in April, May, and June. Mm-hmm. And there were points, again, as injuries stacked up, where I started to go, okay, this might not be their year. No Matthias Ekholm for round 1. That sucks. Yes, you have all these guys out, and they should be back for game 1, but players returning from injury are never guaranteed to be the player that they were before the injury. Who knows what Zach Hyman's problem is? Can he play through it? Sounds like it. Can he be 100%, 90%, 80%? We don't know. What's Leon Draisaitl's injury? Is he sitting out because he's at 95% and wants to be at 100? Or is he sitting out because he's at 70%, knows he'll only get to 80% and couldn't risk making it worse? The same for Frederick. The same for a lot of these guys. There are reasons to be pessimistic, but I wake up this morning and I stare down the barrel of a matchup with the LA Kings for a 4th straight season. I look at what they're like on paper. I listen to all the clippings and what the national media are saying makes the LA Kings different this year, and I just go, it's bullshit. It's the same shit they say the past 2 seasons for the matchup against the Kings, that this year's Kings team is different, and I am telling you, they are not. And that is not to say it is a 100% lock that the Oilers win. And it's not even to say that there weren't certain things that broke the Oilers' way the last number of years when they took down the LA Kings in 7 games and 6 games and 5 games, because things definitely did. The Kings missed Kevin Fiala for the bulk of a series. The Kings had games where they were decided by a goalpost, and that goalpost went the Oilers' way. Think back to 2 years ago, Oilers trailing, I believe it was 3-0 in a game against LA, and Victor Arvidsson has a breakaway. Jack Campbell stops him. The game at that point is still in reach because your backup goalie, who had been garbage all season, stops one of the Kings' better scorers on a breakaway.
Yeah.
Edmonton storms back. Zach Hyman scores in overtime. Instead of coming home down 3-1, this series comes back to Edmonton tied at 2, and Edmonton doesn't look back. Bing, bing, the thing was over in 6. There's been breaks, And that's not to say that, again, if you play the series 100 times, LA's going to win 20 of them, 25 of them. Eventually, they would beat you. Is this year that year? I don't see any reason, aside from the bounces finally going LA's way. On paper, these two teams, I don't see any reason to think any differently than I have the last couple of years.
Yeah, I'm optimistic the Oilers can get through this one again. I don't. It would be unreal if it was 4 games. That would just be special. Mm-hmm. But I think this one probably goes at least 6. I do think LA is slightly better in net. I think this is the best goalie the Oilers would have faced. Obviously, Kemper, the Oilers have seen him in the playoffs before. Colorado went on to win the Stanley Cup that year. The blue line is interesting for me on LA because I don't think Brent Clark's that good of a player. He's
very green.
He's good, but
he also might not play.
Yeah, that's true. That's a factor in it. Like Jordan Spence obviously got a bit of a lock last season too. Like,
and I really like Jordan Spence.
He was solid. I just think that the Oilers have more depth this year up front, and that depth is finally coming through for them with Arvidsson, Skinner, and Brown have all played way better this past 15 games. I'm trying to think back to when that the New York game was. Jeff Skinner maybe a little bit before that, but either way, like the 3 of them finding some consistency in their game has been good. I think Podkolzin has really turned a corner here as well and shown a bit more down the stretch, so I've liked that. And then Ekholm's obviously the big impact that the Oilers are losing. Did Doughty miss a series as well once, or miss a few games for LA, if I'm not mistaken, right? Mm-hmm. So
he missed, remember, the first chunk of the season this year too. Like,
yeah.
That relying on him to play an entire 7-game series. Anyways.
Yeah, but
you're right. He did miss games.
Overall, I'm so happy the regular season's over. I was thinking about this last night, and I wrote some stuff down in my notepad on my laptop. Not put it anywhere. You could call it a diary entry, I suppose.
Would be a great thing to publish at the end of the playoffs. Liam's diaries.
Maybe I will do that. That's a good idea. I just have so much uncertainty as well because of how the regular season went. Like, don't get me wrong, Draisaitl season, obviously incredible. Like, he's probably going to win the MVP. Awesome. Corey Perry was solid, but like, we didn't get like the new 100-point season. We didn't have a Hyman we didn't have a great season from him. The goaltending was iffy. Bouchard wasn't this point per game guy we all thought he was going to be. I just feel like there wasn't that like other great moment to kind of drive everything through. And I think the way the season ended with all the injuries, like Aaron said, like the way McDavid can be like, oh, we're not the walking wounded. It's like, you would know better than us, sir. Like, you're in the room and you know. But from a fan perspective, I think it's hard not to have that. Like, it was even stupid things like the Troy Stetcher thing the other day. I know he's just a lesser guy on his roster, but even with the Ekholm being out, like, he becomes such a valuable piece, and he like jams his ankle. Kasperi Kapanen loses an edge, jams his feet into the boards. Like, even like the Gudis stuff and Hyman thing, like, what even was that, you know? So I'm very optimistic. I believe this team can do well in the playoffs. I just don't know how well.
Yeah, that's fair. Thursday, April 17th. It's the first day our boy Reese is gone from being an intern to an actual employee here. He graduated. He got the contract. It's tremendous stuff.
Well done, Reese.
He celebrated that by showing up 2.5 hours late for work today. Good job, Reese.
Look at that.
That's awesome,
Look
buddy.
at that.
Show starts at noon, same time it did for the last 4 months.
Yep. Way to go. Welcome to
regretting that contract, aren't we? I'm just joking.
I'm joking.
Anyways.
Shout out Reese. Great job on post-game and pre-game last night.
Yep, Reese, producer. Great. Here's what else I wanted to say, and this is going to tie into my bracket that we'll get into later, but you were talking about how this year there's certain things that just the vibes are off, right?
Yeah,
versus
that's
like
a good way to
last year really did feel like a year they could go on a serious run, and even the year before you could say like, man, that was a year where we were anticipating a really, really deep run. They lose in round 2. Sometimes the team that wins it all and a team when they finally break through, it's just a weird year. It's not always the year you have the most dominant regular season or whatever. And there are plenty of examples about this. 2019, the St. Louis Blues. Everyone talks about them being this like, whoa, scrappy underdog 8 seed that squeaked in and went on a miracle run. Think of all of those St. Louis Blues teams in the 6 years prior done in the conference finals.
Yeah.
Broken upset in round 2. It's just weird. 2018 Washington Capitals is another great example. 2010 President's Trophy, they lose in round 1 to the Montreal Canadiens. Go back again through just all of those seasons where they were far and away the best team in the NHL, and it wasn't even close, and everyone had them finally winning the cup. It's finally Ovi's year. 2018, I get they won their division. They were a 105-point team. Mediocre by the standards of the 10 seasons prior to that. I think another really good example would be the Tampa Bay Lightning, who, again, won the Stanley Cup for the first time in 2020. I get that was the weird COVID year as well, but even at the time of that season being paused, I mean, they weren't running away with the Eastern Conference or anything like that. You could look at the year after when they won it back-to-back. They finished 3rd in their division that year. Sometimes, again, the playoffs are an entirely different season, and as much as I agree with you that there are things that happen in the regular season that do concern me, man, there are so many examples when you go back through past Stanley Cup champions of like, oh, that was not the best Blues team or the best Capitals team, or even in 2016, that was not the best Penguins team that went on to win. Sometimes shit just breaks your way, and you play your best hockey at the right time.
And I think the Oilers will be able to capitalize in this first round. Beyond that, we'll see what happens. But the East is, the West is just so wide open. Like I really don't think there's a. Like if I had to power rank them, the decimals between each of them would be so small. Like I think anyone could really win this year, which is good for the NHL too. And I think it shows as well that like so many teams have just taken the health angle of it all, being like, we need to get our team healthy. It doesn't matter who we play, this round, that round, whatever. Like if we have our best team, we can beat anyone. And that's clearly what the Oilers are thinking too.
Yeah, and I want to talk a little bit more about the goaltending as well, because you kind of said like this is the best goalie that the Kings have had. And I do, again, the numbers do back that up. Him having a .922 on the season is very, very good. Yeah. He was a legitimate workhorse 1A goalie. I got a piece coming up at the site that looks into this stuff a little bit, but like he started, Darcy Kemper has started 50 games, never got pulled, 5 shutouts, was .950 or better in 19 of his 50 starts. That's just nuts. Those are all just crazy, crazy, crazy stats. For the Oilers, this is the worst you feel about their goaltending going into the playoffs because it's the worst statistical season Stuart Skinner's had since he took over as the starter a few years ago. Yeah. But the idea that the Kings have better goaltending is not something that's new in this rivalry. You can go back to last season. They had Cam Talbot as the starter, and he was basically last year, he was this year's Kemper. He rebounded wonderfully on the 1-year deal I think he had in LA. He played 52 games. He had a .913 save percentage. Like, he had a great season.
But I think he trickled a lot towards after the All-Star break. Mm-hmm. So I think that's why, like, I think the biggest concern to me isn't necessarily that LA has always had the better goaltending in the matchup, is that the gap is bigger this year.
Yeah, and I think that's fair. I mean, the year before that, Korpisalo would be the opposite of Talbot then, because from when they got him till the end of the year, he had a .921 save percentage with the Kings, and the Oilers lit him up. So, yeah, I'm double-checking Kemper's numbers. Yeah, from, March 1st on, he has a .938. So he's definitely gotten better as the year's gone on. That is a little bit alarming, but you go back to that year with Korpisalo, .921 from the trade deadline on, went 7-3-1 in that stretch. The year before that, Jonathan Quick, as much as we remember him maybe fading out a little bit, he still had a .910 save percentage that season and actually he gave the Kings their best playoff performance out of those other two goalies. The Oilers just beat him in 7.
Statistically is very funny because he has the worst numbers out of those 3 goalies. So he was good in that series too. It was surprising, I guess you could say. But I think the Oilers can solve Kemper. I know this season hasn't exactly reflected that, but I just think when you look at when they played them, game right after Christmas, okay, that really can go either way. And the Kings, the Oilers played bad in that game and scored 3 goals and lost in overtime. Yeah. You beat them 1-0 at home. You lose 3-0 on the road without McDavid and Draisaitl. Trent Frederick can play 7 minutes. I think Ekholm might have missed that game too. Like, you're missing a ton of bodies, and obviously we just got smoked by him the other day with the B squad. So the record would show that Kemper has had the Oilers number this season, but again, like, this means nothing.
Nothing.
Because you look at what Colorado and Winnipeg did last year. Winnipeg smoked them in every game they played them. Playoffs came around, Winnipeg won game 1 and got smoked for 4 games straight. Yeah. The Oilers big guys got to show up. And we can talk about goaltender. I know I brought it up, but like it really will come down to the offense.
Yeah, it will. And that's always the one area where Edmonton just has that distinct advantage, because as much as I'm like a fan of Adrian Kempe and Anze Kopitar is a first ballot Hall of Famer, Drew Doughty is as well, they don't have anyone who I would argue is even close to the game-breaking ability of Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. Like, who on the LA Kings, aside from Kemper now, I guess, are you worried about taking over and legitimately winning them a game? I don't see it.
Yeah, taking over and winning a game is such a... I think there's very few players in the NHL that could do that. It's obviously a big statement, but Byfield, I could see him being like a threat to them, I guess. But I wouldn't know. You're right. There's no one on that level. Kempe is the only one.
No one to the degree of Connor and Leon, but I would say Adrian Kempe is the closest thing they've got to that, and he's been good against the Oilers.
Also, Darcy Kemper.
Yeah.
Like, he's kind of the one, isn't he? Yeah, it's Warren Fogle. It would be...
Warren Fogle's never lost one of these series.
That would be...
Was he the X Factor all along?
That would be the biggest kick in the backside if Warren Fogle turns up for a playoff run. Like, come on, Warren. You haven't done that since your Carolina days. That would suck.
All right. YouTube chat, absolutely popping. It's brought to you by Odd Company Brewing and the all-new Nation Beer Everyday Lager. Crisp, clean lager crafted not just for game day, but for every day. I did a big load up for my beer fridge yesterday. It is stocked to the brim. If the Oilers don't go on a deep run, well, I know what I'll do with all the beer. I'll drink it. But the point is...
How resourceful of you.
Yeah, I am ready to go for a long run here. No, I went, got my flat, stocked it up. We're good to go. Anyways, YouTube chat popping. Fogel's a big threat for the playoffs against us. He's no joke. But like, again, and someone said they just have a team of Hymans. And exactly. A team of Hymans without any McDavid or Draisaitl to put with them is just hard workers.
Yeah, and someone put in Kempe being disrespected. We said Kempe. And also,
I said his name. I said I love Adrian Kempe, would love him on my team. But like, let's go back to the Four Nations face-off where he was a 0 for Team Sweden. He was not all that good.
The other name that someone mentioned too, like Kevin Fiala can hurt you. I strongly disagree. The Oilers have done a really good job of limiting him. He has 11 career playoff goals in this series between the Oilers and the Kings over 2 years. He has 2 goals.
Are we talking about, didn't Kevin Fiala get healthy scratch this year? That might have been because he missed a team meeting, though.
Yes, I think it was something weird like that.
But even Kevin Fiala, this was the first year out of the last 3. If you take this year and the last 2, this first year he's above 30 goals. Like, I don't know. Like, they're good. I'm not like...
Yeah,
I'm
we're not
saying
discounting them.
Yeah, and I'm not sitting here saying, like I think Carolina can put the pedal to the floor and steamroll New Jersey in 4 games. I think Winnipeg can do that to St. Louis, especially because they're missing Dylan Holloway. Like, I don't think Edmonton's just going to go and win 6-2, 5-1, 4-2, and 5-2, and it's a sweep. Like,
no, totally not.
It's going to be a tough series. Like, the Oilers have to play well. They're not going to win this series with their B game. They need to bring it. But I'm just saying, the Oilers, if Edmonton's at their A and LA's at their A for every single game, this series is over in 5 games.
Yeah, it should be. If you're right, if it kind of was to go that way.
Well, and sorry, just here's the other thing with the LA Kings. And I know they've kind of moved away from the 1-3-1, and it's like, okay, they're a different team this year playing a different style.
Still similar, though.
They're still so similar.
Yeah.
And they still struggled to score, did not score as many goals as the Edmonton Oilers this year. Again, that's been a trend every single regular season. They play hockey in a way that is prevent first, score second. And when you go up against a team with Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, Zach Hyman, Evan Bouchard, all these offensive pieces, eventually that dam is just going to break. And you can go back through every single series that these two teams have played. At some point in that series, and more often than not, twice in that series, the dam's broken in a game. And the Oilers have scored 8 or they've scored 6. And this is not to say the Kings haven't also done that to the Oilers. But again, in a lot of those games when the Oilers were scoring 5+ goals, they didn't need 5+ goals. It's because the dam broke and you can only hold Connor and Leon off the scoreboard for so long.
Yeah, and there will be a game like that too. And I could see it going both ways, like you said.
Yeah.
That Kempe, someone else pointed out too, it scrolled away now, suggested that Kempe has lit up the Oilers, I believe it was worded. There's definitely been games where he has shown up and been that threat, but he's the only one that has really done it. Like, Byfield didn't have a goal against the Oilers in the playoffs last year.
I love that you said that, because that's exactly where I was going, is you can sit there and go, Kempe's lit up the Oilers in the playoffs, and it's like, and then who? And for the Oilers, you go, Draisaitl's lit up the Kings. McDavid's lit up the Kings. Bouchard's lit up the Kings. Hyman's lit up the Kings. Evander Kane lit you up in year one. And
hey, Stuart Skinner went to LA last year and allowed 1 goal in 2 games. Like, that's not nothing. People seem to forget that so much that he went on the road and put together 2 unreal games.
61 of 62 shots.
That's
Oilers
amazing.
came home up 2-1 in this, or up 3-1 in the series.
But all anyone wants to look at is those 2 bad games against Vancouver and be like, he's the reason we lost. I can't believe he only allowed 2 goals in Game 7.
And then they want to ignore games 6 and 7 against Vancouver.
Yeah, like it's a roller
Dallas
coaster
Game
with
6?
it.
Dallas Game 6.
He had a
Like,
9-0-9 in the Cup final,
Florida Game
regardless
6.
of how you think about it or remember it.
yeah, exactly.
Even like Game 7, I know everyone's like, the Reinhart goal. I'm sorry, but if the Edmonton Oilers lose a game 2-1, it is never... They could lose 2-1 giving up 10 shots.
Yeah.
It is not Stuart Skinner's fault. Score 3 goals. You're the Edmonton Oilers.
Edmonton Oilers.
Exactly.
100%.
Just to back up my point here, 2022, Oilers go down 1-0 in the series. The next 2 games, they score 14 goals on the LA Kings to take a 2-1 series lead. And the other thing, too, is... I'll finish this exercise first. 2023, the year they won, they are trailing the series 2-1. They score 5 goals, 6 goals, 5 goals, win the series in 6 games. 16 goals in the final 3 games in 2023 to overcome a 2-1 series deficit. Last year, they score 7 in Game 1. They score 4 in Game 2, lose. They score 6 in Game 3. Like, every single year, the Oilers have gone out and had multiple games where they are just offense clicks, LA doesn't have a hope. And here's the other thing. Let's look at a couple other wins. You mentioned the 1-0 win last year. Obviously, Stuart Skinner electric. Edmonton got outshot like 33-14 in that hockey game.
And they had 1 power play and Bouchard got the goal.
Exactly. One of Bouchard's many game winners from the first 2 rounds last year, I might add. But we can go through some other examples. 2023, they win 4-2 back in Edmonton. Go back to Game 7 in 2022, maybe the best example of this. They win that game 2-0. And LA, if Edmonton can get their game plan situated and forced in where they hem LA in, they push offensively, and it's very hard for LA to get anything going on the counter, the Oilers run away with that hockey game. Just listed you a whole bunch of examples of it. If LA forces their game and it's low event hockey where the Oilers can't get anything going and it's 1-0, 2-0, 3-1, 4, like one of these low scoring where the under hits games, Edmonton's proven over the last handful of postseasons they've learned how to play that way.
Yeah, they're very good at just they proved last run that they've become very good at just absorbing the pressure, and they have no problem with just letting you kind of what the Vegas Golden Knights have done a little bit as well. We obviously saw it, the game they beat us 1-0 earlier in the season, but absorb the pressure. Puck comes to you, chip it out, reload, get everyone else. It's the worst kind of hockey to watch, and I do not enjoy it, but they got results, and that's what matters in the playoffs. You can win a game 10-0 or 1-0. You still get a 1-game win. That's all that matters.
Yeah. Did we just get ourselves all the way back in? Did we just convince ourselves that they're going to beat the LA Kings?
Oh, yeah.
We just did 23 minutes of talking about how much of an advantage the Oilers have in this series. And the other thing, too, like as much as the regular season was just a dull fest, I kept going back to picturing myself, Game 1, Monday night, we're at Greta, and the first big goal goes in. Bar goes nuts.
Yeah,
Come on.
It's a cup year.
Yeah,
Come on.
Yeah, someone threw earlier in the chat, I believe their name was Tyler, one of the earlier comments, suggesting that the series is going to start Monday, which means our mega stream will be Monday.
Mega stream Monday. We'll talk about that more later.
That the Kings are an advantage because they play until Thursday, and now the Oilers have like this extended time off. Every single series has started on the Monday in this long 4-game series run they've had. The LA Kings have played Thursday every single year. Finished on a Thursday and played on Monday every year. The Oilers have alternated between Wednesday and Thursday, and also had a game that finished on a Friday, and then they played the Monday and still went on to win that series.
Also, I don't know if you saw Chris Knobloch says they're staying in San Jose. They're not coming home.
Oh, really? I did not see that. We speculate on that. Interesting.
We did.
That must have been a team decision. Like the players must be like, yep, let's just do it.
And
Dial it in.
You go to San Jose and you just eliminate the distractions. Just like I wouldn't even go, and he says they're going to be staying in the San Jose area. I wouldn't even go to LA or any of that. I wouldn't be using the Kings practice facility. I love the idea of just like, we're staying in San Jose.
Although, do you remember the one game in LA? I can't remember if it was the first year or the second year they played him, where they had clearly all gone to the beach for a day and like they were all sunburnt, and Cody Ceci was like red as a lobster.
Frank told that story on Daily Face Off Live or on the DFO Rundown today, where he was like, I remember looking at Cody Ceci in warm-ups being like, oh my God, did the whole team go to the beach?
And they did.
Yeah. So that was a Todd McClellan year, because I remember JBM and I also went to the beach on the off day, and we saw Todd McClellan walking around the beach. But yeah, the Oilers, there were so many, and they lost 4-0 that next game. It was the first year, I believe.
Yes,
and it was like, I think the Oilers maybe learned a lesson here, being like, don't go outside.
Yeah, don't go sit on the beach for a day.
Yeah.
Sun takes a lot out of you.
Gene was looking
Crispy.
red that day too.
All right, we got a handful of things to get to. Let's do our short for giant question for the day. Also, we didn't even mention last night the Oilers shut out the Sharks.
Congratulations to all involved. Congratulations to Max Jones. First goal as an Oiler.
We finally are Oil to the max. Probably his last game as an Oiler. No, he's under contract next year. All right, maybe not. Stuart Skinner stops 35 of 36 shots since returning from a concussion. His words, not mine. Maybe Rantanen knocked some sense into him. He said that, not me.
Yeah, he did say that.
Factory reset is the joke I've been making, but dude, looks good.
He said he was feeling fresh. Said he felt very good. I mean, look, I know the lineups he's faced in Winnipeg and San Jose, but I don't know. 1 goal in 2 games. You couldn't really ask for a better return from him. Nope. He did well. Nothing too crazy. But
the other thing, I mean, San Jose, those teams are on 2 different spectrums of one's here, one's here. But both games, the Oilers only allowed 18 shots.
Yeah.
That is worth noting.
Yeah, Winnipeg was missing a lot of their guys too, but you're right.
Exactly, but that's still.
But even just confidence-wise for Skinner to make a bunch of big glove saves, like what he did last night.
Totally.
From what I saw.
Let me get this right. Cam Dineen.
Thank you.
Hey!
It's big. That's a big sign for us.
That is all.
All right.
No, the post. He actually came really close to scoring a goal yesterday.
I felt so
that
bad
was too
for
bad. Yeah, Gorgiev, also you said yesterday going to the KHL, the GM, what's his name, Mike Greer, said that he will not be in San Jose next season.
Why?
He will not be negotiating a contract.
Yeah, listen, Gorgiev's consistent. 890 on good teams, 890 on bad teams.
Well, what do you want?
He's had back-to-back 870 years. This year he's 870. Last year he was 2.
That's AHL level.
Also, because I like doing this, not that I ever call any of these guys out publicly, but whenever anyone makes fun of me about my Stuart Skinner takes from earlier in the year, Twitter search them with Gorgiev from when the Avs got Gorgiev. Oh my God, it's like the Oilers missed out on prime Henrik Lundqvist. It's the funniest thing ever. They were acting as like, what the? They picked Campbell over Gorgiev, which, again, neither one was the right choice, but they definitely act like Gorgiev was the second coming. Very funny. All right, short for giant question time, Liam. Short for the Giant Nation valet service playoff time. You are busy. You cannot be driving your vehicle to the dealership, but you need your oil change. You need to get your tires changed, all that stuff. Nation Valet Service, they come to your work, come to your home, pick up the vehicle, drive it back, do the work, bring it right back to you. You never leave. It's like your car never left, but the work is done. Short for the Giant hockey fans, helping hockey fans. I'm going to guess the playoff lineup. You're going to tell me where you think I am wrong. This is assuming all 12 forwards are healthy. All right?
All right.
Giddy up. Let's go.
Get my horse.
Here's my forward lineup. Top line, Skinner, McDavid, and Brown. They stay together. Second line, it is the hard to play against line. Hyman, Draisaitl, and Frederick. They will wear you down on the cycle. You have a good forechecker and Trent Frederick on there. I think that's a line that just plays a very, very difficult brand of hockey and is a line you can actually kind of trust. So I like that trio. Third line, it is your break even and anything else as a bonus line. Podkolzin, Hopkins, Arvidsson. I think Arvidsson and Podkolzin have shown that they actually work pretty well together. This trio has had some nice stretches in the final 6 weeks of the season. I think that's actually a really, really nice third line that you can kind of trust at both ends of the ice. Henrique, Perry, and Evander Kane is my fourth line. I worry a little bit about the boots on that fourth line, if I'm being totally honest with you. You hope Evander Kane is fully up to speed, but as much as you can sit there and say he's fully healthy and he's been ramping up, it's great. He also hasn't played hockey in 10 months and he's in his 30s. There's no guarantee you're getting great boots from him. So that fourth line is just kind of my veteran, start him only in the offensive zone, hope you get a clutch goal here or there line. The middle six is 2 lines I think you can kind of trust everywhere. And the top line is Connor McDavid can produce with anything. What do you make of this? What would you change?
Well, I would just say quickly on Kane, having a blowout game early in the series would be incredibly beneficial.
Because you could give him 15 minutes.
Just let him run with it. I think that this lineup is probably good for game one. I know I've been out here saying that I don't think Brown should play on the first line. I think Hyman should be there, yada, yada, yada. I just think eventually it's going to balance itself out that Kane will just move into the top six and Brown will just find his way back down to the fourth line, which is fine. Like, I think spot starts throughout the game as well of just throwing Hyman or Kane into position with McDavid and Draisaitl is also good. Another reason I really would keep Brown in the top six at least on next to McDavid more than Draisaitl. I love that third line. Podkolzin, Nugent, Arvidsson has been really good when they've been given opportunities this season. And as a lineup, as a trio I would run with, and I think Skinner and McDavid is the way I would go with it. You kind of got to work it in twos, I think. So, like, Skinner and McDavid are a duo. Trent, Frederick, and Draisaitl, you would assume that's a two. And then I would have Nuge and Arvidsson as a two. And then, I guess, Henrik and whatever, the fourth line's whatever. And then you can rotate everyone else around. So, I'm in. I'm charm in. Also, too, you mentioned the speed. LA will probably play Trevor Lewis in this series.
Yeah, probably.
So that's exciting.
Fourth line, Akil, their fourth line last game at least was Thomas Hellenius and Trevor Lewis. I mean, even if you look at some guys who could factor in, is Tanner Chanot going to play?
Well, he's been injured.
He's been week to week for he's not playing. Yeah.
I hope he plays. He sucks.
Yeah, he's not a good hockey player. Even if Jeannot plays, that doesn't really change anything for me. Byfield, they got to add Byfield, and so they had three regulars. Yeah, even if your fourth line is, again, like Jeff Malott with Alex Laferriere and Jeannot, like, okay.
Yeah, like when the others played him the other week, it was Hellenius, Jeff Malott, and Trevor Lewis was their fourth line. So, yeah. I would imagine Jeannot just plugs in somewhere too if he was to play on the fourth line. Maybe Turcotte to add a bit more speed, but yeah, could you have the Kings line? I guess that was it, wasn't it? It's not even up to date.
This is it from their last game, so it's missing a considerable amount.
Yeah, Alex Turcotte, first line. That's what they thought was going to happen.
Is Byfield, Kopitar are not in there?
Yeah, so that's your 2 second. Yeah, whatever.
All right, let's continue along here. So we're kind of good. We're kind of on the same page. Someone did ask, Aaron, actually, if you want to flash back up my lines, what do you do if Janmark comes back? Because it does get a little bit more complicated. So I was on with Gregor yesterday, and he kind of brought up the point of, like, we disagreed on this, but it's fine. I see where he was coming from. Game one, Evander Kane's going to be so full of adrenaline and so ready to go that Gregor was like, I would put him in the top six to start. Okay. So if Frederick can't play, I don't hate the idea of Kane going up and Janmark just going on the fourth line. And you go Janmark, Henrique, and Perry as your fourth line.
So who's coming out, sorry?
Frederick, if he can't go.
Oh,
and it's just Kane up, Janmark in.
Yeah, totally. I think that would be cool as well. And hey, just to bring down his minutes slightly, just throw Podkolzin or Arvidsson on that line for a shift. Double shift them or whatever. Maybe whatever you do, however you can do it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't mind that.
Or actually, that's a good point. You go Draisaitl, Hyman, and Evander Kane, and every once in a while you just throw Perry on that wing, which they like to do.
Yeah, there's ways to do it. They have enough depth. We're not dealing with Dominic Cahoon anymore in this town.
No more Dom Cahoon.
No, don't have to worry
We miss
about
him. No, we don't. All right, there you go. That is my projected lineup for our friends at Sherwood Ford the Giant. We got to do our playoff bracket. We got to do some bold predictions. But should we go out to the Star Mechanical guest line first?
See what we've got out there.
Well, we got an interview to play. Our friends at Pepsi are doing something special for the Stanley Cup playoffs. They are going to be in Edmonton giving away and selling, I would assume, limited edition Pepsi products where they've turned their iconic cola orange for the Stanley Cup playoffs. That's pretty cool. I would imagine they're going to be out and about in the city, so you can go find them. But they gave us a chance to talk about that with Oilers Hall of Famer, 5-time Stanley Cup champion, Vezina Trophy winner, Spruce Grove product, Grant Fuhr. Here's our interview with Grant Fuhr. Very exciting interview today on the show, and very excited to be partnering with our friends at Pepsi for this interview, as well as the Oilers gear up for the playoffs. Pepsi is making a bold statement. It's changing its iconic cola color to orange, and to celebrate the launch, Pepsi is teaming up with, once again, NHL Hall of Famer, former Edmonton Oiler, 5-time Stanley Cup champion Grant Fuhr, the pride of not just Spruce Grove, but all of Edmonton. Grant, excited to have you on again today. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you guys?
Doing great.
Fantastic. Playoffs are right around the corner, always an exciting time in Edmonton. I want to kick this off by talking a little bit about your partnership with Pepsi. You first signed with Pepsi back in the last season the Oilers won the Stanley Cup. So I like that we're keeping the championship vibes going, or maybe bringing them back. Let's maybe start with that partnership. Talk to us about that first time you signed with Pepsi, and then maybe a little bit on how this year's partnership came about.
So for those that remember, I would have signed with Pepsi back in 1989. I was going to wear Pepsi pads in the All-Star game. But unfortunately, the league wasn't quite as forward-thinking as Pepsi was. So we had to make a choice of either wear them and get suspended or not wear them. So we ended up not being able to wear them.
Wow. And then this year, I mean, Stanley Cup playoffs coming right around the corner. I feel like it lines up really well, but talk a little bit about this year's partnership and Pepsi turning the cola orange.
Yeah, I'm excited to be back with Pepsi again. It's such a good company. They're very forward thinking. And the fact that they reached out and were interested in partnering with me again is awesome. It brings back a lot of really good memories. And I'm excited going forward with Pepsi, and obviously excited for the playoffs. I mean, that's still the best time of hockey.
Yeah, the playoffs, especially in Edmonton, are so much fun. Like, we obviously got to experience the run last year of going to the Cup final. But what is it about Edmonton that makes playoff time so special here to you?
I think it's the fans more than anything. I mean, the atmosphere in Edmonton is like no place else. I mean, that's the one thing. Once playoffs get going, everybody in Edmonton is a diehard Oilers fan. And well, you guys know, if you follow social media through the year and such, they can be fairly critical. But when it comes to playoffs, they are definitely 100% behind the Oilers.
Yeah, no kidding. We had Mark Messier on earlier this week, and we were talking about some of his playoff memories as a player. And I mean, there's a few guys on this year's team who are going to get to experience playoff hockey in Edmonton for the first time. But when you think back to that first playoff run you had with the Oilers, and funny enough, I think that was actually a series against the LA Kings as well, which ties in nicely to this year. But what do you remember about that first playoff game and experiencing that atmosphere for the first time?
You know what? My first playoff game didn't really go all that well. I think we lost 10-8. So probably not the start I was looking for. But you know what? To get a taste of the playoffs, there's nothing better than that in Edmonton. I think that's the biggest thing, is the city just goes crazy. I mean, if you look at through the years, you look at the new building and you look at the atmosphere outside the building, not just in the building, but outside the building, the fans that support it. I think it's phenomenal. And it's something that everybody should experience.
Yeah, and like when you think back to playoffs this year, like you said, it's not just like being in the building, it's just the vibes are around the whole city, like everyone's so invested in it. But when you're sitting back sipping on a Pepsi, is there a certain moment you kind of reminisce on in your career being like, man, that was awesome, like what a cool moment that was? I would assume the 5 Stanley Cups would come up once in a while.
Yeah, it comes up once in a while, especially with some of the people I sit and watch the games with. And you know what? The greatest part about it is the city of Edmonton I grew up there. So I was born and raised. I was an Oiler fan when they were in the WHA, lucky enough to play right at home. So I have a little different feel than most people, being right from Edmonton. So I love playoff time. I love playoff time in Edmonton. We tried to sneak up for a couple of games last year, but unfortunately for us, they scheduled our playoff games at the same nights that Edmonton played. So that was a bit of a bummer, but we did run an extra TV screen so we could watch the games. So no, we're still a diehard.
I love that. Again, going back to your playing days, the team, it was so unique because there were a handful of guys on that team who were local Edmonton products. You, Mark Messier, Randy Gregg, a few like that. How much more pride did you take in putting on that Oilers sweater, knowing that you were playing for your hometown?
You know, everybody as a kid dreams of playing in the National Hockey League. And of course, we all dream about playing at home, but to actually be able to do it, I think that's the big thing, is you get the chance, you get the opportunity. There's nothing better than that. I mean, one, you're playing in front of family, friends, that sort of thing. So when that happens, it just brings that extra special feeling to it, because there's nothing better than winning with your family and your friends around.
Yeah, no kidding. I wanted to ask you one, just kind of talking a little bit about this year's team. And you brought up that your first playoff start didn't exactly go all that well. And, you know, you look at this year's team and Stuart Skinner. That's a guy who he's definitely battled some inconsistencies through his first couple of playoff runs with the team, even though they went as deep as they did last year. But just looking at a guy like Stuart Skinner, who is a local product like yourself, who's taking on the task of trying to lead this Oilers team to a Stanley Cup, just like you did. I guess, what do you think of his first couple of playoff runs, and maybe what advice would you give him heading into his now third playoff run with the Oilers?
Hey, there's growing pains in the playoffs. That's the biggest thing, is that playoffs don't always run the way you want. I mean, my first year, we lost 10-8 in the first game, won 3-2, won 3-2, then blew a 5-0 lead in the third period to lose 6-5, and then lost 7-4. So you learn. I think that's the biggest thing you learn. And then you look at our group in 83, we got to the final, we lost in the final. The Oilers lost in the final last year, but we got swept in 83. People don't remember that. We got swept by the Islanders in 83. So you take something out of every playoff and you learn. And I think with Stuart, that's going to be the same thing. He's going to learn each series he's in. And as you learn, you get better and better. Yeah, your regular season might not be as consistent and as good as everybody else wants, because everybody wants to win every game. But guess what? You're not going to win 82 games. That's just the way it is. But come playoff time, you take it one game at a time. You don't look at the long term. You just try and finish one game. You win that game or you lose that game. You let it go afterwards, and you look at the next one.
Yeah, and I think with Skinner too, what people seem to forget is he's still a very young goalie. What's this? I think his third full season in the NHL, and he's taken the Oilers on some good playoff runs too. There was a clip last year from the Oilers run from some of the behind the scenes footage of McDavid kind of. We saw a side of him we hadn't ever seen before, and showing a lot of passion, telling the team to dig in. Was there ever a moment when you were in those runs with obviously those great Oilers team that's maybe Wayne or Mess kind of stepped up and like changed their vibe and was like something similar to that?
Well, we had a pretty serious vibe. I mean, anytime you've got Mess, it's a serious vibe. So that was the great part about it, is we had great coaches that were good about motivating us. And within the room, you got Wayne as a leader, you got Mess as a leader. You look at some of the guys we had as leaders, and all of a sudden, you've got a good vibe. You just didn't want to be that weak link that caused the team to end up losing.
Yeah. Another thing too, like just kind of drawing the parallels to those teams in the 80s and maybe even this year's team. But you talked about losing in the Stanley Cup final, and then again going on the next year. Like the Oilers right now, coming into the season, the regular season, I guess, means less, and I'll throw air quotes around that, but it means less than it did in the past, because this year's team is going to be judged on what they do in April. And I think we maybe even saw that a little bit in the regular season this year for the Oilers, where it's like, okay, maybe they took their eye off the ball a little bit because they're thinking like, just get us to the playoffs, just get us to the playoffs. Did you have any experiences like that, where that year after you first go to the Cup final, like, is it tougher to play in the regular season when you remember how close you were and you just want to get back to playoff hockey? And it's like, man, it's game 65. Who cares right now? Get me back to April.
Well, you know what? You care, but at the same time, as you care, it makes the regular season harder. I think that's the biggest thing, because you know what the end goal is and what you really want. And for you to get there, obviously you have to be successful in the regular season, but at the same time, the regular season doesn't have that same relevance. So once the playoffs start, it'll run the juices up. And yeah, people like to see you have a regular season that's really good. They worry about inconsistency. They worry about the team not being good enough, but playoffs are a different animal. And I think you'll see that from the Oilers. Once it gets started, they're going to be good.
Yeah, and I mean, another side of it too is the injuries, like we're seeing right now. So many Oilers have been going down over the last 3 weeks, and we always hear come playoff time that, you play hurt, right? I mean, at times we've seen guys like Leon Draisaitl do this. You even play injured, and I guess when you look at that too, like the Oilers are kind of limping to the end of the regular season here. But how much does that change come playoff time, where maybe that sore knee, that sore shoulder, whatever's bugging somebody, that goes away come playoffs, right?
Well, there's a difference between playing injured and playing hurt. You can play hurt. Injured is kind of hard to play. Yeah. But again, once playoffs start, you get adrenaline. The docs will make sure that things are functional. So you play. I mean, the body part's not falling off come playoff time, you're going to play.
Yeah.
Do you have a prediction for this first round? Round 4 of Edmonton, LA again, 4 years in a row. It seems like, hey, we all saying, it's been 7-6-5. Is this one a sweep? Probably not. But what do you think?
Oh, I think it's going to be another good series. I think it's going to probably be a 6 or 7 game series. I think it's going to be kind of nasty because the two teams obviously don't like each other. We saw that the other night. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be exciting.
Yeah. Did you, I mean, obviously you guys through your playoff runs, you would have ran into the same team a handful of times as you went on.
Like Calgary every year?
Yeah. Does it get more difficult being kind of, again, you guys were the top dog for all those series. Does it get more difficult the more you have to play a team like that?
Oh, definitely, especially if you've had success against them. I mean, you look at the series we had against Calgary, a lot of those battles went 7 games. You look at how hard the series were against Winnipeg. Yeah, a lot of them were sweeps, but every game was close. Every game was hard. So that's just the fun of the game.
Yeah. Let me wrap up with this one here. As playoff celebrations get going all over the city, give me your best advice to hockey fans for how to survive what we hope is another long run for the Oilers.
I think they should probably go get an ice cold Pepsi Orange and enjoy the ride. I mean, it's a lot like a roller coaster. There's going to be ups, there's downs, but enjoy it for what it is. I mean, it's going to be a lot of fun. And the Oilers, I think, are going to take a long run this year.
Grant, thanks for your time. Appreciate you popping on. Enjoy a nice cold Pepsi during the playoff run for us.
Oh, I definitely will. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Grant.
Big shout out big shout out to Pepsi for hooking us up with that. It's also
You had 11 minutes to get your giggles out.
11 minutes, and you waited until now.
I didn't look the whole time.
All right, shout out to our friends at Star Mechanical, starmechanical.ca. Put up an ad or something. Oh my God.
That was crazy. What are they doing to the sun down there?
Okay. You are just so set off right now. That's so funny. All right. Anyways,
Liam's covered in tears.
I know I can't stop. Oh my God!
What an interview! Wow.
Look at the tears in Liam's
Like you're crying so hard. Okay.
Dial it in.
Dial it in, boys. Shout out to Star Mechanical, starmechanical.ca. Shout out to Pepsi, Orange Pepsi, coming to Edmonton. Vibes are high heading into the playoffs. I do agree. Thank you to Grant for giving us some time as well. He's down in Coachella Valley, which is
you
why
also have tears all over
Oh
your
my
face.
God, I do. He was down in Coachella Valley, which is why our boy was just fighting the sun. It was, he grinded. It was only 11 minutes, but you
Yeah.
could just tell he was.
Because we were on for a couple of minutes before, too, and that was not a problem.
No,
And then all of a sudden,
Was-
I didn't know it moved so fast.
Well, it would have been like 7.
Crazy.
It would have been like 7:30 a.m. where he is, right?
I said we'll post that separately at some point, but if you put it in 2 or 3x speed, you can just see the sun just slowly. But way to power through. What a
Also,
profit.
one of my favorite lines Grant put in there because he was great and he was a lot of fun to chat with.
I'm not laughing at him. I'm laughing at the sun.
He put in a line there about when I asked him the last one about playing the same team over and over again. He had a little line about, he played the Flames. And he goes, well, a lot of them were sweeps. And I was like, fucking right, so they were, Grant. Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
The Pepsi thing would have been cool.
I can't. I've never seen you laugh so hard.
I just,
And seconds before we came back.
but a little behind the scenes, when we do our interviews, we obviously move out of the way. Like, we don't just sit here and watch the show again. Tyler pulled up a
Funny
meme.
Yeah, I saw it.
We move away, so when I came back, I just saw Frank Frank called him
Liam called him Frank before we started recording.
which is a total accident. Grant just absolutely battling the sun, but that was awesome for him to give us some time. The Pepsi pads, if they were able to do that at the All-Star game,
Yeah.
that would have been awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would have been like, I could have changed the league. I really do think that would have changed.
If ads would have gotten on pads?
Yeah, like I think like at All-Star games and stuff like that would have been cool. I think players would have gone for it.
Stuart Skinner would have had California closet pads on.
Yeah, they just open up.
Okay. Great interview. Shout out to our boy Grant Fuhr. Would love to have him on again down the stretch throughout the playoff run. Let's do our playoff brackets, Liam, brought to you by our friends at Boston Pizza. Liam, what's that sign behind you say? Our little Boston Pizza sign.
Let me have a look.
Yep, take a look.
This year, we bring it home.
You're damn right we do. Shout out to our friends at Boston Pizza this year. The cup is coming back north of the border. It's been 32 long years, and I think I know a team who is going to be the one to do it. Manifest it. Believe it's been too long. Hockey is Canada's game. We need to take it back. Favorite Boston Pizza appetizer menu item? Go.
Spin dip.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
That's not a common one at BP's. A lot of people go cactus cuts.
Cactus cuts, 100%.
Too spicy.
Thai chicken bites. Those are the ones I love.
Those are good.
Cactus
then you
cuts
get
are too spicy.
What? Sometimes.
Get to the back of your throat. The pizza bread too. Is that what it's called?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Bandera bread. Yeah.
No, but they only have also like a pizza bread.
I don't know if they still do.
They used to, and had the marinara.
Or you could dip
as
it
well.
in the meat sauce.
Yeah, that was good stuff. But the wings, obviously, off the hook.
Your wings are great. Cheesecake on Wednesdays,
Fried
right?
chicken bites. Another.
Fried chicken
I
bites.
can
'Cause
just
you
think
get
about the menu
chow
now.
mein noodles too. So good. All right, playoff bracket time, Liam. You and I giving our picks. Who wants to go first? Me or you?
I'll do it.
All right. Let's see
I'll
Liam's
take
bracket.
the heat off the bat.
Okay.
Oilers to win.
Whoa.
Okay.
Washington.
Yeah, so Winnipeg, St. Louis, I think are pretty fraudulent, if I have to be honest.
I agree.
I think that's over in 5. I think Dallas is also pretty fraudulent. Obviously,
Lost 7 in a row coming into the playoffs.
Oh, really? I didn't even know that. Jason Robertson obviously left the game yesterday in a knee brace.
Knee brace. It doesn't sound good either.
So that's not good. Also, Miro Heiskanen, also Jake Ottinger being the most overrated goalie in the league.
He's been awful down the stretch.
Yeah, he's not that good. Colorado, obviously a good team. I have Colorado then going. I just think Colorado have too much offensive depth.
And the
compared to
Landeskog
Winnipeg.
thing is such a boost.
Yeah, that's a boost. And also, Winnipeg play Nemeshnikov as their second line center. He's a good player, but not that good. Vancouver, lol. Vegas to beat Minnesota. I think I have that in 5 games. Could be 6, but I think Vegas will just win that one. Be a tight series, though, I think. Edmonton, LA, I have going 6. Edmonton going through. Colorado, Edmonton. Edmonton just better. Edmonton go through, win the Stanley Cup. On the other side, I know a lot of people like the upset of Montreal and Ottawa. I just don't see it. I think we've been around the block and seen these happen quite often where like a team who is pretty impressive and like a young team finally gets into the playoffs. Like Toronto surely has to get through one of these years, and I think Ottawa is easily the easiest opponent they've faced in a while. Tampa, Florida. I'm not really a Florida believer this season. Tampa Bay obviously bolstered up at the deadline. Vasilevsky's playing like Vasilevsky plays. Washington been great this season. Carolina and New Jersey just don't have enough right now. Carolina fall like they always do. Washington finally get to another conference final. Face Tampa. Washington beat Tampa. Washington fall to the Edmonton Oilers in 6.
All right.
There you go.
I agree with you on a few, obviously disagree on a handful as well. But if you want to flash mine up, Aaron, I can walk people through it. I think people are going to
Whoa.
giddy up. What did I say about sometimes it's just the year where there's not the expectations, there's not all the hype and hoopla. These are 2 teams who I think a year ago they were the pick. Everyone was going, man, Toronto, Edmonton could actually be a cup final. No one's really talking about it this year. But I'll start with the West. Agree, Winnipeg gets through St. Louis. I think maybe they buffer once or twice, but I have it in 6. I have Colorado rinsing Dallas in 6.
Yeah,
Or in 5, sorry.
I could see it in 5 as well.
My stunner in the West is Minnesota. 7 games, Minnesota's going to squeak out like a 3-2 win in game 7 or something like that. I just look at it. They both play a very, very heavy brand of hockey. And I know Vegas has some good players stepping up in depth roles and all that, but Minnesota, I think their depth is slept on, haven't been healthy all year. And I like Philip Gustafson more than I like Aiden Hill. As much as Aiden Hill's been there, done that, and maybe Gustafson gets rattled or whatever, I think Philip Gustafson's a guy who can step up and steal a series.
He is a good goalie. And I mean, if things hypothetically go wrong for him, I mean, good backup.
Yeah.
Fleury.
I have Edmonton winning in 5 as well. So 2 of the West series end in 5 games. In the East, Toronto wins in game 7. I think there'll be a lot of talk about the Leafs are choke artists. Game 7 on home ice against the Sens. What's going to happen? I think they find a way, and it just fuels them like rocket fuel winning that game 7. And I honestly think they'll beat Tampa in like 6 games, be in the conference final. I am taking the sexy underdog pick in Montreal because I do think one wildcard team in each conference finds a way to advance. Montreal in 7 doing what they did in 2010. Again, this one's become a bit of a cliche pick. Everyone thinks they're being all quirky with the Habs, which is why I'm taking it a step further and I have them beating the Canes. I think Montreal goes from the momentum of Game 7 against Washington. They go up against a Canes team that just walks all over New Jersey, and they like punch them in the mouth early and go up 2-0 in that series. It's like a 3-1 win, then it's like an OT win in round 2 or in Game 2. And Carolina's just on their heels. Confidence is shattered. Bell Center is just electric, and Montreal finds a way to hold on and win this series. And like I'll say, they split at home. They're up 3-1, lose Game 5, win Game 6 at the Bell Center.
And the Bell Center is
it's a
such
factor.
an advantage.
It's a factor.
Yeah, that place is crazy. Or Toronto, Montreal conference final. That would be one
How
for the
great would
ages.
these conference finals be?
Yeah, it would be probably the best you could ask for. Not in terms of skill, but just like everything involved in it.
It would be so good, but I think Toronto goes and beats the Habs in like 5 games. I think Edmonton and Colorado is just a dogfight, 7 games. You get to the Cup final. Oilers stars are more experienced. So Oilers come through and win. Again, Anthony Stolarz, Oilers got to him in the Stanley Cup final last year when he had his little relief appearance. I actually don't even remember if they scored on him or not. But the point is, Edmonton's going to win the Stanley Cup and beat the Toronto Maple Leafs in the process. And is that just not the sweetest way to lift Lord Stanley?
Yeah, that would be. I don't know how this country would survive.
No, it'd be crazy. But again, one of the most annoying things that would come of this is there would be some controversial call in like Game 3 that like goes the Oilers' way and they score on the power play, and you deal with Leafs fans for all of eternity being like, if that call in Game 3 didn't go their way, the Leafs might have won Game 3 in overtime, then they wouldn't have been down 2-1 in the series. Blah 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 blah. Leafs fans would be very annoying, but I think the Oilers win that series. Stanley Cup, Oilers over the Leafs. Again, predictions are, in my opinion, I find it funny unless you have like the analytic model, like a Dom Lucian or something. I think predictions, you should get a little bit bold and weird because, again, no one really cares if you get them right or wrong at the end of the day. I just want to do a victory lap if Minnesota beats Vegas. That's all I care about.
Say you did it. Say you were the one who called it.
Yep, I called it. And guess what? If I'm wrong, I'll be like, yeah, no shit, I was wrong.
Yeah, it's Minnesota.
It's Minnesota. Yeah.
I was kidding.
Yeah, I was just joking around. So that's my bracket. That's Liam's bracket. Dacky, Wes McCauley would win the Cup. Yeah, why not? All right. One more thing to get to today, and it is the Bet365, the finale, Liam. The award ceremony, we'll call it. The Bet365 Game Day Betting Challenge came to a close. Bet365, where every... sorry. Bet365, download the app today. Use the promo code NATION. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365, an official partner of the NHL. Every nail-biting overtime win is a barn burner. Every suspenseful moment in between is amazing. Must be 19 or older. Please play responsibly.
Who won?
Flash them up. I know you're so proud of what you did here. Oh, I thought you used new images. Or is that for the playoffs?
We got an updated one in a second. I am proud of what I've done.
Was this going into last night?
No, this was
everyone
after
lost last night.
Everyone lost. Jay lost, if you can believe it. I'm proud of it. I proved what betting responsibly can do. This was all a stunt the whole time, and I won. 17-27 in the season.
Bet within your means. A lot of straight bets and low payouts, if you want to call them that.
And I won the league.
And you did it.
There you go. You're welcome, folks. Thanks for playing along this season.
So as Jay pointed out, Ty's the only one not to win this on his own show.
Yep, I am a back-to-back runner-up. I think I came second last year as well. Because last year you struggled for a really long stretch too.
I did, because I kept doing those stupid parlays.
Yeah, but you bet responsibly this year. You came out on top. Congrats.
So yeah, and here's the playoff one.
Oh, I like. Jay looks like. I mean, I don't know. Jay looks like he's pissing.
He wasn't.
I said, or it's like a cover photo for his band.
I don't know why that picture's on Google.
How old is he in that?
I don't know. There was just so many.
He honestly might be like 30 in that photo.
It's a great pick.
Pretty good pick.
It's a great pick. That was
if that's 30, he looks pretty good for 30.
Yeah, that was on Google for you. I don't know. And so was mine. That's me in Banjo Guy's hat.
Oh, yeah. Was that at Greta or was that?
No, that was in after game 3 or 4, I think.
God, I loved being on the road last year. That was so much
Yeah,
fun.
the LA one was really good.
That was good. And that's me drinking a beer where?
I don't know.
Where did
Patio?
you even get that?
Google?
When you Google me, that picture comes up.
Yeah. And Jay, I didn't go out of my way too much. Just right there.
Also, something, again, I find very funny is that when you look up my name, the first 4, things, Tyler Yaremchuk hockey, Tyler Yaremchuk DB, Tyler Yaremchuk elite prospects, and then Tyler Yaremchuk brother. Almost like people just need to find some sort of justification as to how I have this job. Surely he played, right? He's not just a stupid idiot who got a Oilers show, but didn't. I'm very confused where you found. Oh, there I am.
There you are.
It was a thread. I was just crushing
On
a beer, I think.
threads.
Oh, I think that was my first day on vacation last year.
There you go.
All right. Okay, for Bet365, we're looking forward now, Liam. I have a bet that I love, but you got to get it in before the weekend.
Okay.
Connor McDavid to lead his series in points against the LA Kings. Nathan McKinnon to lead his series in points against the Dallas Stars. Parlayed together plus 485.
Damn, that's not bad.
That's good value. The juice. Also, if you parlay all of my series picks in the correct amount of games, you can turn $1 into $1.45 million. Makes you think.
Responsibly.
Yeah, you
Responsibly.
gotta
I might
get
just
on
do that 10 times.
Dude, you kind of sold me on it earlier.
Yeah.
You were pitching me
It's a
before
lottery
the show.
ticket. $10 lottery ticket. Pick a bunch of different combinations. See if you
See
can
what
hit.
happens.
Yeah.
May as well.
But McDavid and McKinnon to both lead the series in points. Plus 485. I like it.
Good luck. I don't mind it either. Drysdale, what was he? I would guess plus 200.
It's plus 350, I think.
Still-
No, sorry, plus 200. You're right.
Ooh,
To lead in points. In goals, he's plus 350.
right.
It's actually interesting. Last year, there was only, in 2 of the 4 series, McDavid or Drysdale weren't the leading goal scorers.
Bouchard was.
Hyman.
Bouch. Oh, right, because McDavid kind of didn't show up till the cup final.
Yeah.
To the conference
Western
final.
Conference final. So it was Hyman was
This is for this year's goal scorers.
Oh, yeah. Hyman was the first round against LA last year. And then I think it was a Hyman-Bouchard tie in round 2.
So,
Round 3, I think, was a McDavid tie with someone. Round 4 was a McDavid-McLeod tie.
wasn't Nuge?
Nuge was very good against Dallas, yes. I'd have to double-check all that. But, all right. That is a wrap for today. Got to give some love. Didn't do our bold predictions. We'll save them for Monday, but they're brought to you by Service Credit Union. The Service Big Share Contest is back. It's your chance to win $1 million just by saving money. For more information, go to service.ca/win. Monday, mega stream. Here's what we got planned so far. We're testing a bunch of stuff today. We're going to go live at noon, and then Liam and I are staying live until 7 o'clock when pre-gaming with Boardsy starts. You are getting a 7-hour straight edition of Tyler and Liam and Oilers Nation Everyday on the Oilers Nation YouTube. 10 out of 10 photos of us, of you mainly.
Hey, you look good too.
Thank
You
you.
look good too.
We're going to we got an Xbox hooked up to our streaming software, so we're going to play NHL 25 for a little bit.
Maybe Zoo Tycoon.
Maybe Zoo Tycoon, sure. So we're gonna play NHL 25. We should have Louis DeBrusque on the show. I think. We might have we're gonna have some other special guests. DJ Bean's gonna swing by, a couple of other people. So we're gonna have guests throughout the 7 hours, and then we're gonna have nonsense. We're gonna have donation benchmarks. If you donate $250, we'll do this. Donate $100, we'll do this. We're going to do a donation prize wheel. So we're going to try build up, and this is, again, spitballing here. We're doing more planning today. We're going to do like a $250 donation.
Okay.
And the first 5 people who donate are going to get a spin on the prize wheel on the screen, and we're going to build up some prize packs with all of our sponsors.
Cool.
We got a ton of stuff going on. So
trying
again,
to get Brett tattooed.
Yeah, we might get Brett tattooed live on the stream.
Is that as well?
We're going to do Jeopardy.
Oh, another fun one. I don't know.
Cooking with Liam.
We're gonna
Baking with
cook. I'm
Liam.
gonna get my supplies Sunday now, which is it's good. I'm glad I got moved.
Yeah, me
This
too.
gives me more time to prep. Obviously, we're gonna bring in the flag game. That just seems like inevitable. But the way we're gonna do it, which I think is way better,
It's way better.
you're gonna donate. It can be like
We'll set a number later.
whatever it is, and you have to say draw El Salvador. And Reese has to draw it off memory.
We can't do off memory.
Yes, we can.
Reese, do you know what the El Salvador flag looks like?
Go Sunday night and sit there and be like, okay, this is what these things look like.
I got a perfect game for you to play, Reese. I'm very good at it. We'll go 1v1.
So we're gonna make Reese study for this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
People are paying for it.
Okay, we got to get him like pencil crayons or something though.
Oh yeah, I'll get some supplies.
Okay. All right.
It's exciting.
We're gonna just
We haven't played flag game in months.
No,
Yeah,
we
long
haven't.
time. But we're basically just going to dick around for 7 hours. It'll be great. And we'll have some interviews. If you're a podcast listener, I think what we'll do is we'll just upload the interviews we do because the rest of it probably won't make sense. The first hour of the show is going to be pretty normal.
I'll do, like regular ONE. I'll put out as a pod.
Yeah. And then like if we get like a Ryan Whitney or something, if we get a big guest, we'll put it out on the pods for everybody. But yeah.
Maynard said, but he'll be late in reference to Reese coming
Fair.
to the show. That's probably was.
I swear to God. No, it's Chalmers.
Chalmers.
What's up, Charles? Yeah, we're not done yet. You're here really early. Yeah. What an interesting lesson. It's playoffs. You want to give us a playoff prediction, an early one for the people?
Here, come here. You can come here.
Oh yeah.
We're just the Oilers?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Just that series?
Yeah.
I just wrote down on the board I went Kings in 4 because I wanted everybody to go, Chalmers, what are you doing?
Chalmers, what are you doing?
I changed it to Oilers in 4. I think it's going to be a sweep. I think they're just going to come out and we're just going to take care of business.
All right.
Get some extra rest time.
Chalmers is here because we're doing a new episode of Real Life in a little bit. You can find that wherever you get your podcast from. But that is a wrap on today's edition of Oilers Nation Everyday. No show tomorrow. We are off. We're observing the holiday. We are going to come in and record an episode of Oilers Nation Radio. So if you're working tomorrow, we'll give you 1 hour of podcasting. But that is a wrap on today's show. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see everybody Monday when it's mega stream time. Oil up.